Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another gaming themed video. This time we are in Gran Turismo 7, the real driving simulator. We are in sports mode here at Grand Valley Highway with the #1 layout for Daily Race 3 as we're fielding ourselves in the Group 3 Mercedes AMG GT3 2020 edition. This is a race we're starting off from position 7, but it's a track I love. It's got some lovely twisty sections and some beautiful vistas while you're off it. So let's just see how we're going to go. I'm trying to get a good launch straight out of the gap. Quick check behind us to make sure that GTR is not going to throw anything like super suicidal at the inside of us going into turn 1. But we're going to try and push into turn 1 a little bit. The Porsche is going to cut across our nose and we're going to get us ghosted for a minute. But we still get a good exit, so we can try and challenge them going into the S's for the first time. Taking the wide line, trying to just keep in the gas, not cause any accidents. Put some pressure on them. We've got drama going on with the GTR behind us, but we're not worried about that. We're just going to send it up the inside of the Porsche there, as we see someone really miss their braking point. The Porsche is going to push us back here, so we're just going to tuck in back behind them, try and keep our nose clean, not cause any drama. Just try and put some pressure on as we go round into the first set of chicanes. Get a good exit and around here. We can probably settle in just behind them. All sorts of dramas happening in front of us with the Beetle and the Maserati livery Ford all getting in a bit of a pickle. So they're going to go and all scrap with each other, so we're just going to take those positions nice and cleanly, thank you very much. Sit up the inside of the Lamborghini, let them sort themselves out, not worry about what they're doing, and just try and run our own race. Gets us up to 4th after we started 7th. Over onto the bridge we go. Trying to get a good exit to pull away from that Lamborghini, who has a little more horsepower than us usually. But the BOP has sorted that out a little bit, so we don't have a tremendous amount to worry about on the straights from them. Coming in now for the tunnel, we want to try and keep to the right as much as possible, despite the fact the Supra is spun out there. We get ourselves up to 3rd and make sure we have a good line. So we sweep across it over the second bridge going into another tunnel. 2 lovely high-speed corners. You can really just stay in the gas and control it just with the throttle. Get an exit down onto the home straight to complete your first lap. It's just a wonderful little section. It's so easy to place the car in a way that feels like you're just nailed and glued to the road. Very, very Red Bull 2023 kind of feeling to that. The Lamborghini's just going to have a look at us there going into turn 1, but we're going to keep it on the wide line, get a better exit as cut down across their nose to stop us from losing any more positions there. And the Lamborghini has their own battle to fight, so we're not too worried about whether or not they get us at this stage in the race. Into the S's once again. We'll clip a little bit of the dirt there, but we're not too much. Try and keep the tyres dry as we go into that section. Round the hairpin. Drive it off the corner. Stay in the gas a little bit as we go down the hill into the next corner. Late braking halfway through the corner pushes us a little wide, but we're going to sweep it back into the chicane. Cut the corner a little bit, hit the apex, a little bit of dirt that kicks up there. And then down we go into the slow left-hander. And then over the top of the bridge we go into the second tunnel section. We'll try and get our braking point right here into the left-hander. The apex comes really late in that corner, so you want to be very careful that you don't get too eager to get your gas going onto the bridge on the right. Over the bridge we go. Through we go. We see that the Peugeot that was in 4th and got a penalty, so they're going to drop back to 5th. So that Lamborghini's chasing us again with the neon green wheels, which is really quite a bit of a loud statement for a Lamborghini, but that's kind of, the point of having a Lamborghini. Get a little bit of loose on the exit there, but we're okay. We hang on to it, we don't lose the car, so we just keep on getting through our laps, getting through our distance, keeping the throttle in. Down we go into the tunnel once again, staying in the throttle, trying to hit that little bit of apex while letting it ride over the top of the crest of the road as we go through to complete our second lap. Now on this main straight we go, trying to pick your braking point. You want to hit kind of the 100 to 150 mark, maybe go for 80 or so meters if you're brave. Getting a little bit too much of that curb as we come around onto the first bridge. Unsettles the car a little bit, but that's not too bad. We can live with that. Into the S's, keeping our foot in the gas as much as possible. And the cars will grip if you're confident enough. You maybe have to lift a little, but it's never too bad in there. Late brake going into the hairpin once again. we see a car in front of us picks up a little bit of a penalty, so we're going to try and take advantage of that as much as we can. We've now gotten into the point of the race where nothing's going to happen too dramatic that's going to cause you to pick up 3 or 4 spots in terms of the kind of first lap incidents, so we just have to drive our own race and just see what happens, try and keep our lap times consistent. They're not going to be as fast as some of the times you can hit in qualifying, just because you're in a race scenario. The tracks and the tyres is different, but if we keep it going this way, we should be alright. Around we go, onto the bridge once again. Beautiful vista that you get when you go over this bridge. Down we go. Seeing there's a fairly good procession of cars now. The gaps have all evened out a bit and everyone's putting in similar times to each other. We try and get the exit right there. We're going to cut over the corner here. Around we go, swing it onto the bridge as we see the cars behind us kicking up a lot of the dirt with a bit of a wider exit. That'll help us draw out, because they're going to battle amongst themselves. If they're more worried about each other than us, then we're just going to be able to drive our own laps. Getting a little wide perhaps off the bridge, but we go through, completing our another lap. Down we go, get around the corner, pick our braking point, cut in, sweep around this corner. It really is a fun corner. It's not quite as crazy as Spa or Monza turn 1 or 2, because your braking point, if you miss it, you are going to probably go into those barriers, but you have enough time to try and salvage it with a couple extra emergency stamps on the brake. It's a fun corner to go around. Same with this chicane. It's a super low speed corner, but because you're coming down off of the incline, starting to run down the hill towards the coast, it's such a fun chicane to take, because you feel like you can carry in a lot of speed and the car will be okay with it. I really do like this section of the tracks. It's twisty, but you feel like you can hit the corners and the apexes fairly well. You can hit the dirt without too much trouble, and you can still get some good exits. We see that we're being chased down a little bit by the Peugeot there. They've got a bit more of that gas to them, so we kind of have to keep an eye on what's going on there. But anyone who has a Sonic the Hedgehog decal on the back of their cars, always going to be an interesting competitor as we get going over the bridge. We have a quick glance to see whether or not they're gaining on us, but we've got a fairly healthy few thousandths of a second, so we can use that to our advantage. They're going to want to try and really push us on their racing line, but we've got the better traction, and they're trying to still focus on the Lamborghini battle that they're having as well. Over the bridge we go, sweep it into the left-hander, staying in the gas, trying to hit a little bit of apex without getting too close to the barriers on the right, drive it down the hill back into the blinding hot sunlight. So we go down the main straight, past the pits and over the finish line for our next lap. We're lapping fairly consistently, not making too many mistakes as much as possible. We've come in a little too tight on that line there, clipping the dirt on the inside, so we're going to lose a little bit of our right hand grip as we go into the S's. But it's not as much as to affect us whether or not we can take the corner flat out. Maybe a little bit of a lift just to get the car rotated for the second part of the corner. But it won't affect us going too much into the chicane. We've still got a good grip even if the car behind us is gaining a teeny bit. We can live with that. We're not going to be too much worried about what they're doing. We're losing a little bit of time on this lap, but it's nothing that we can't make out with a good second and third sector. So we run a little bit of wide there, really messing up their setups. It was all about not making any mistakes, but not to worry because the car behind us made one as well. So we haven't lost too much time to them, but we have dropped back from second place quite a bit. So now we really are in a three-way battle for this third position. There's a bit of bumping and banging going on behind between the car in fourth place and the green-wheeled Lamborghini, but as Alden, the great NASCAR legend, say, a little bit of rubbing is racing, so we'll let them sort themselves out, and if there's anything too problematic, Gran Turismo will probably give them a good slap on the wrists. A little bit of a super stock punt going on there, stock car punt from the Lamborghini into our friend from Italy, and they're going to try and get back at each other on that, but we just got to keep them in our rear views because we don't want to be trying to deal with them. It's not exactly clean racing going on behind us. There was a lot of drama on that first lap, so we have to just try and drive our own race as opposed to worrying about what the Lamborghini's doing. As we see that the Lamborghini's sliding itself into the pits there. We're just going to take our time, still to try and keep a good lap pace and not worry about what's going on too much behind us. Sweep it round into the right-hander. Another time we clip the apex a little too much on the inside. That's concrete rather than tarmac or paint on the inside there, so it's going to really get under your wheels and send your car bouncing around a little. So we just got to try and do our best, keep an eye on how our tyres are doing. But we're hanging in there for now, so just stick it in there, try not to burn our tyres up too much. Because this is a league race, but it's not a race where the rules require you make a tyre change at any stage, so we'll drive our own race on that front. Let's see if we can hang in on it. Too much dirt on the apex there, so we're going to lose a little bit of time with our exit, but we have the horsepower advantage, but we are going to pick up a 0.5 second penalty for track limits, which will serve as we come round onto the end of the lap. We're hanging in there. We're not doing terribly, so we're just trying to take the penalty and work with it as much as we can. We're going to have to serve it on our next lap at this rate, but we're making a bit of a dash for it, so we'll see if we have to deal with any further repercussions. It's all about keeping calm, but it's not exactly one of my strong suits in these league races, so hang in there. We've cropped a little too much of that corner there. I feel like another penalty is probably going to be coming our way in a minute for that one. And yes, we see it, we do get another penalty there, so we're now up to 1 second's worth of penalties, but the car in front of us has the same thing for track limits. So we're going to head into the pits, try and get our tyres switched out and a little bit more fuel. In we go. Pit crew in need of a good stop. Oh look, we've got a perfect stop from our pit crew. It's hardly surprising given that it's the same every time, which, you know, I like that about Gran Turismo. There's no chance of your mechanics letting one of your wheels roll down the pit lane or anything, although it would be interesting to see if they introduced a random variable in sports mode for your pit crew to mess up your race. But I don't think that's particularly likely given how butthurt a lot of players would be about that. We come out of the pits, we see we've lost third place to the Lamborghini with the Volga green wheels, but that's fine. We can race our own race here. If we've started from 7th and finished in 4th, we've picked up 3 places, which is a usually fairly good finish, and we've avoided getting into any major incidents. So I think it's fair to take that as your result. But anything can happen going into these final laps, so we'll just keep driving around, seeing what's going to happen. We're on colder tyres now, so we have to be a little careful as we go into the twistier bits of the circuit. And then we're probably going to have to serve our penalty this time around, get decelerated on the back straight over the bridge, so we'll do that. But the car behind us has picked up their penalty as well, so we're not going to lose any ground behind us, but we are going to drop back a little bit from the Lamborghini in 3rd place, which might put pace to our hopes of getting on the podium for this race, but it would still be a good result. But let's take our penalties. We get slowed down for our 1 second penalty. The same thing happens to our rival behind us, so it allows us to pull out a little bit as they picked up a little bit worse of a penalty than we have. We've not quite gone full Austrian Grand Prix with everyone getting track clips penalties all the time, but I think it's fairly common in Gran Turismo, especially when you're racing at kind of C and D grade like I am. We've not run enough races to really get up there with the big boys, so that's not too much to worry about. So around we go into the tunnel again. Good exit. I love that dramatic shot that you can get around that tunnel. Down the home straight we go, and across the line. Keep our foot in the gas. Round to the right we go again. And power it down into the S's. Try and get that nice line. Drop around to the right. Cut the curb on the inside. Try not to get our tyres too dirty. In the same way into the right-hander, then the left-hander. A little bit of a lift, but we hold the line quite nicely there. Down a few gears. Drop it down into the chicane. Nice clean line there. Trying not to get too much on the dirt at all. You want to be careful with this set of corners here. You've got to and late braking zone going into that left-hander, and then you hit the dirt a little bit on the right as you come in, but you've got to be careful not to mess your tyres up too much on that one. And only now I think we're realising we've had our blinker on for this entire race. I'm not entirely sure at what point that got turned on, but it's not affecting our race too much. I don't think anything's going to come of that. You don't get a penalty for having your blinker on, do you? I don't know quite when we turn that on, but at this point it's kind of too late to turn it off, so we're not going to do much about that. Over the bridge we go, trying to get it off the apex. It ran a little bit wide, and the curb reminded us that it's there. But it's not hurt our line too much. It's not hurt our exit speed either. Around we go into the tight right-hander in the tunnel, trying to get a good line through the left and then the right and going onto the second bridge. Nice on the left, nice on the right, just getting a little bit of that curb. We've got much better grip than the car behind us. They've got a little loose coming off that exit with a little bit of understeer and then snap of oversteer, so we're okay on that one. They're wrestling it around. Well, we've got a nice clean exit. Down we go onto the start-finish straight. Across the line we go once again. Get our timing right. Keep our foot in the gas as we head in down. Around the corner. Nice clean line. Probably sitting a little bit wide, but it maximises our ability to power off the corner, get the foot in the throttle on the exit and get a good line going into the high-speed S's. A little bit of a wiggle there, and then we clip the inside a little, so tyres losing a little bit of grip as we hit the dirt, but it's all okay, it's all manageable. Nothing that's really going to hurt our lap times. We take the corner once again, power it off, clip a little bit there. Another little puff of dirt as our inside wheels clip the apex there. But we're okay. We've kind of overrun that a little bit, but a good stab of brakes will hold us in there for that one. Down we go into the first tunnel section. Into the slow left-hander, you've got to really be patient with the throttle again. Round we go, into the right-hander onto the bridge. Trying to get in the gas as early as possible, get a good exit. A nice shallow line there will help you do that really nicely. Drive it off the corner onto the straight, braking down into the slow right-hander through the bridge. You want to be careful going too tight on that line through the inside there, otherwise you're going to be much too shallow going into the chicane. We've just about managed it without wrecking ourselves, which is always encouraging. Down we go onto the straight. Sweeping right-hander onto the tunnel. Power it down through the straights as we see all the crowds gathered and cheering for us. We make a decent split and start our final lap, breaking it down there. Once again over the bridge. Just got to keep our noses clean at this point, keep our composure. It's not something that I'm always great at in Gran Turismo. I've been quite error prone in the past, especially in higher speed races. I much prefer the Group 4 cars to the Group 3. There's not a tremendous amount of difference in handling or braking performance, but the power levels can take you a little bit by surprise if you're not careful. So I was fortunate enough to get a lot of good practice laps in that get us 7th place on the grid for qualifying, which really was fine, but I've put all that to pot and I've gone a little bit wide onto the dirt there. We've got enough of a gap to the car behind us that it's not too bad, but it's all about keeping your confidence high, and that's not exactly going to help. And we've messed it up a little bit, drifting it slightly on the exit of the corner there. Just got to stay calm really, which is never fun. And telling yourself to stay calm is a bit of an oxymoron. It's always just a little impossible. Take it round the chicane again, steady on, get a good exit, try and drive off the corner. We've been reminded of that outside curb a few times in this race, but not badly enough that we've given ourselves any permanent damage or received any kind of penalties for a collision with the wall. We take it round into the chicane once again for the final time, clipping that inside line nicely, taking a little too much of that second corner, but enough that we've managed to escape without too bad of a penalty. We're only going to get another half a second there, which, looking at the gap behind us, won't affect too much of the race results. We come into the tunnel for the final time. power it down through the straight. Give it a little bit of a wiggle with our indicators on the whole time. And we come across the line to claim 4th place. And we come across to claim 4th place. But we find ourselves upgraded by 1 position. A 1-minute penalty applied to Billy Datish in the Lamborghini with the green wheels. Now that must be a 1-minute penalty for not serving tyre regulations correctly. That's the only thing that you would see awarded like that at the end of the race. We've carried on a 1-second penalty, but that's not affected the result. So we've gone from 7th to 3rd to claim our podium at Grand Valley Highway, which is always a fantastic result. I'm very happy with that one. I've got my palms all sweating through that final lap. I've made too many mistakes, and I'm thinking, oh no, I'm gonna wreck this car. But we've survived for now, so thank you very much for watching this slightly chaotic race. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to support the channel and have any word on what content you'd like to see me cover next, please, while we're waiting for the final results, go and check out the link below that you will see on the bottom of your screen just now. So without any further ado, here are the results of our Williams Poster Retro giveaway. Our first winner is user Zamph. Congratulations. Our second winner is user Dylan Goodwin. Congratulations to you too. And our third and final winner is user CNC Yaz. Thank you all very much for entering. Congratulations to the winners. Please DM me over on social over at Need for Speeding on Twitter and Instagram to claim your prizes. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe out on the road. I'll see you next time. And here's me on the podium. 3rd position, we'll take it.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes it. Lewis Hamilton, champion of the world.
Ewan Kankin, 4 times title holder.